So we have another speaker, I believe, and then we'll come back and address all these.
Patrick O'Kane.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, my name is Patrick O'Kane. I live at 1030 Rio Lane, and this is not my first rodeo with the Utilities Department. I believe it was October of 2005. It started actually prior than that. My first hearing was October 2005 with an independent lien hearing officer, which was not even close to what the independent lien hearing was that brings me to this particular hearing. Mr. G, the independent lien hearing officer of June 10th, he indicated to us, and I've got a transcript to listen to, quite literally that this would be the appellate body if we didn't agree with his decision. And I had a prior hearing with Mr. Donald Sperling. He also indicated the same thing. So when I came before you last week, Councilman Ashby, and you were acting as vice mayor, I got 2 minutes to say pretty much nothing because you were unaware of what the process we were told was supposed to be. So I want to thank you for getting that straight, because you are all we have. They are set with policy. That's all they can do. We can tell them they're wrong, they made a mistake, till they're blue in the face, and they're going to tell you that that's their policy. And I get that part. So as a public, we want to move past that and get to you and say, look, they made a mistake, and I know they got policy, they can't do anything about it. It's up to you. On behalf of the people who were just up here before me, I probably flustered Mr. G to death as a lien hearing officer because I spoke first. I flustered him to the point where he just threw his arms up in the air and said, oh my God, what did we do on all the previous lien hearings? And they said, we did this. And he said, okay, that's just what we're going to do. So I don't think he was able to give much consideration to the particular instance these people have brought up. Myself, we don't get to weigh in as the public because we bring our issues to you. But I think if we just forgave the Crocker Art Gallery $7 million, I think we could have forgiven those people $1,000. You know, just my personal opinion. Now, for myself, I have brought before the lien hearing departments that I noticed a charge on my bill for something called supplemental irrigation. And I went to the utilities department at 35th Street and I asked them, what are these charges and how do you calculate this stuff? Well, I got told that for the water and the sewer and the storm drain, I'm charged based upon how many rooms I have. And for the water, well, it's a flat rate, except that my house, which is a little 3-bedroom house, 1,200 square feet, happens to be on 20,000 square foot of property, which means I have 7,000 more square foot of property than what they consider a little 12-bedroom house should have, and therefore I must use more water. So I get to pay supplemental irrigation, which would be a $45 charge in addition to the standard $40 charge. Well, I got to thinking about supplemental irrigation because I live on a special street, which is really what this whole issue is. My special street involves one house as you turn the corner to come onto my cul-de-sac, and then I'm all the way down almost at the end of the cul-de-sac, and I'm the other house, and everything else is apartments. So lots of things happen different on my street. Okay, so supplemental irrigation. The man who owns the house at the other side of the street, up at the beginning, he has 3 bedrooms and 5 people live there. He happens to have a piece of property that's actually 2,000 square feet bigger than mine, but has an imaginary line on it. So therefore, he pays $40 a month for water. But I'm sure he could supplementally irrigate all he wants in the back portion of the lot that doesn't appear to be on the first portion of the lot because it's undeveloped. With that in mind, there's an 8-inch pipe going down the middle of the street. And a 1-inch pipe going to his house, I know because I helped him dig it up to replace the main, and a 1-inch pipe going to my house. Now, I could turn the water on April 1st at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he could turn his on, and we could shut it off on April 30th at midnight. And I'm sorry, but I can't get one more drop of water than him no matter what. So when you want to tell me I'm paying double the water rate because I might use more water, I can tell you technically that cannot happen. And literally, it's just me and my wife. We got 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen. He's got 5 people. I know we don't use more water. And we got the same size property. So, you know, I got to take issue with how the building's been being done. And I don't know that I'm special. I think everybody's paying this rate of, these room things. The storm drain based upon rooms. I don't understand. The storm drain is when the water gets rain on your property and it runs off and it goes across the sidewalk and it goes in the gutter and goes down the street. Or maybe you're flooding your front lawn or whatever you're doing. But I've yet to figure out how it is 5 rooms can make it rain any harder than 3. So why am I paying per room for what comes out of the sky? That doesn't make any sense either. And see, I'm almost like proposing a per person billing, but really, if you're talking about who's using what, then that's what we are talking about. Because when you want to go to metered water, you're saying, well, I don't care how many people you are there. You use 750 gallons of water, you're going to pay per gallon of water you used. Well, with these other things, where you're a person and the storm drain benefited you or the sewer benefited you, then we should have a per person charge. But this room charge is absurd. I know some people with huge houses getting charged by rooms, and there's only like, I don't know, 1 or 2 people living there, but yet they're paying all this money, what, because they have a big, nice house? That sounds like a tax to me, not an actual utility service being provided that they're charging for. And then there's the lien hearings themselves. Mr. G read his procedure that was from a script. And again, he stated specifically that this was to be an appellate body. And then he swore in what was the agent for the city. And then the clerk recorder, I'm going to say, because I don't know who the person was, but they had a laptop and they were recording as if they were a clerk recorder. They were there, and they read a script to me for me to testify. And my testimony included under penalty of perjury. Now, I don't have a problem with that because I'm not coming here to lie to you, and all I got is the truth anyway. But when the city didn't come and swear under penalty of perjury, I'm thinking any evidence that they brought forth must have not been worth bringing forth. So technically, that hearing never occurred. Or the city lost by default, because if you don't appear and testify under penalty of perjury, but yet ask me to, you're making a representation that we're having some sort of court of law and that there's some sort of fairness in effect here. Now, whether it is or it isn't, I was being tricked into believing it was some sort of court of law fairness going on. But that's not what happened, so I'm not tricked. Well, I'm asking for some sort of fairness. I'm not going to pay any utility bills for services that don't happen. The street sweeper doesn't come down the street and sweep the street. They put one of those green waste cans at my house 2 or 3 years ago. They never picked it up. I called them twice. And what's worse, it don't matter. I got 20,000 square foot of property. I have to take the stuff and take care of it myself. It's not going to fit in that can. And neither does it for all them apartments who put their refuse out in front of my house, their green refuse, and then the city comes and picks that up with their pincher truck. And they think it's mine, and it's not mine. See, they trim their palm trees in the piles, and this is what goes on my street.
All right, sir, are you?
Yeah, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not paying any of this until somebody takes a look at what these charges are really for, and that the services aren't being rendered. Thank you.